What's up everybody, Wolf here with another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video. Today's video we're not going to be doing any theme teams or anything like that. I have been requested to kind of do like a little bit of a beginner's guide for those who are looking to start doing like ranked play and whatnot, and kind of go over the basics and try to give some like helpful hints and tips of like what to focus on, what to avoid, stuff like that. So be as it is. Take my information with a grain of salt. I mean, everyone plays differently. Everyone enjoys different types of Pokemon. So I'm just gonna go over the basics of like what to look out for, what teams you're going to see a lot of, what teams you could work around if you're just looking to climb ranked and stuff like that. We'll go over a lot of the meta Pokemon. We'll go over like a lot of just the highly used items to focus on getting, and then yeah, I mean, ranked is one of those things where it's only ever just one battle against a person, so it's just kind of learning the metagame, adjusting to it, and then I mean, just getting good at knowing what moves to do, what moves not to do, predicting like switch ins, switch outs, stuff like that. It all just comes with practice. But let's go ahead and jump into the box. Alright, so I already made a meta box. So here I'll be going over like a lot of the leads you're probably going to see, a lot of combinations you might see, and then we can also talk about like what kind of team that fits your kind of niche that you like to play. So the top row I have is weather teams that you're going to see a lot of leads as, such as T-Tar and Lycanroc with, he'll have Sand Rush, so his speed's doubled under the sand. So it's almost impossible to outspeed a Lycanroc. And then they'll most likely, depending on what your lead is, they can just sit there and just spam Rock Slide and just hope for flinches. I'll also, with Sandstorm up, rock types get a 50% special defense buff, so it makes them a little bit more tanky against that type of thing. And also, if the opposing team is not running steel, rock, or ground types, or safety goggles, they can also chip away at your HP slowly, which can also break your focus sashes. So, like, Sandstorm's a pretty decent weather effect to have up. And then you have the Torkel Lilligant lead. Normally with this is they are going for like hyper offensive outspeed you, because with Torkel's Drought he'll set up the sun, and with Lilligant's Chlorophyll it doubles her speed, so essentially nothing's going to outspeed her. And then she does After You, which since she's the fastest Pokemon, she'll make Torkel technically go first, and then you can just spam Eruptions, and you can do a lot of damage to a team if they don't really have an answer for it. But weather teams are really gimmicky, but I mean, for the most part, they're pretty solid and work really well. So, I mean, that's why weather is such a good aspect if it's what you're like playing around. The next one is going to be like a Pelipper or Palafin team. Palafin's just a ridiculous Pokemon in itself if you can get it switched out and transformed into its hero form. And then Pelipper just sets up the rain, which is really nice because it makes it to where Hurricane's 100% accuracy, Thunder's 100% accuracy, reduces the damage of Fire-type moves, boosts water damage moves, and some things have like Swift Swim and whatnot, so you can abuse that. So it's kind of like the Chlorophyll and Sand Rush. There's a lot of different things you can do with these weather teams, and these are normally going to be like leads that you normally see. Or you'll see like a Paradox-type Pokemon paired with them also. So on our next one is one we've been seeing quite a bit of since they've introduced it to where Ruined Pokemon can be used, is Chi-Yu and Fluttermane. So what they're going for with this is Chi-Yu lowers the special defense of every Pokemon but himself. And then Fluttermane has just really high offense and is really fast. So he can sit there and spam Heat Wave while Fluttermane can sit there and spam Dazzling Gleam, and it's just a lot of damage that not too many things can sit there and just take repeatedly. It's going to one-shot a lot of things. So it's just a really aggressive lead. So that's if you're just trying to get the match over with as fast as possible. This is one possible thing you can do. The only thing that I've seen at this falls that it has an issue with is if something resists her and they KO Chiyu, then the strategy kind of falls apart because then they're lacking damage at that point. And then our next one that we have is going to be a classic, the Dunzo and Tatsugiri with the Commander. I like this lead. I like this as a lead, or I like it as a come in and clean up the opposing team type thing. It's really flexible what it can do. It does run into a problem if they're running like Murkrow with Haze, because then you just completely negate all of the commander buffs, and then it's just Dunzo with the fish inside his mouth. So it's one of those that like you can have it sitting on your team, and in team preview, it's scary looking because most people know what this combination does. And if you see that they don't have like a haze type user, I mean, you're pretty safe to bring it. And I've had plenty of games where I've run this, and it can just kind of just run the game itself. Now, another type of lead that we've seen a lot is Indeedy and Armarouge, because with Indeedy's Psychic Terrain, priority moves can't be used on your side against you. It also boosts your psychic damage that you do. And Armarouge actually learns Expanding Force, which is a psychic move that if Psychic Terrain is up, it hits both opposing Pokemon. And Armarouge has got really high special attack. And then with Indeedy just having Follow Me, I mean, you kind of get to you just do a lot of damage really fast. So, and also, depending on how these two are built, they can also go a Trick Room type 1. So that's another thing to watch out for. Alright, our next combination that I've seen is Iron Hands and Fargarath. This one you can see run with quite a bit of things, especially slower teams. It's got two different abilities that you really run. You can either run the one where priority moves can't be used against you, and I think the other one is you can't have status moves used against you, I think is what the other one is. But those are really good abilities to have. It depends on what you need. Normally it's the priority ones that's really nice because it prevents fake out and stuff like that from you. So, and then Iron Hands is just a ridiculous Pokemon in general. Fake out, and then it's got really good coverage moves, and it hurts, and it's tanky. It's just one of the best Paradox Pokemon they've brought out. Another one you might see often is a Murkrow lead, because with Prankster plus the Dark typing, you can either run Evilite or the Covert Cloak, so that prevents you, even if they fake you out, you still are immune to it because Covert Cloak doesn't let secondary effects happen. But this one, if you're going to see a Murkrow, it's almost always going to be a Tailwind type team. A Tailwind type team. You notice that we have Haze, which is for the Dunzo teams. So, if you see Murkrow on their team and you see it come out, it's most likely going to be running this build. So, just be wary. It is probably going to be a Tailwind type team. Meowscarda is going to be another Pokemon that you're going to see a lot of. Because of Protean, it's super fast, it hurts, and we've seen some pretty interesting builds on this Pokemon ran. The one I have right now is kind of just a generic build where it's just trying to one-shot whatever's on their team. But yeah, this is another threat you're going to see a lot of. Now this thing. This is a ridiculous Pokemon in the game. Population Bomb is probably one of the most overpowered moves I've ever seen a multi-hit do, considering it hits 10 times. And if you hold a wide lens, you almost have, you're really close to 100% accuracy. So, it also learns Follow Me, it also gets Encore, and you have Protect. This thing is super duper annoying. We are 5 levels higher than 50, so its speed is actually, it's fast, but there are way faster out there, so. But, I mean, Mousehold is a great Pokemon. With Technician, Population Bomb does a lot of damage. We've seen some other type of weird builds on it, kind of like the beat up thing that they do with the Annihilate to get the Ragefist going. It's just a really nice supportive Pokemon that hurts. That's just what Mousehold does, and the fact that it's only got one weakness. But yeah, you'll probably see a lot of Volcaronas because Volcaron is really good this time around in Scarlet and Violet. Flame Body is amazing, so if you're hit with a physical move, you have a chance to burn them. I've been running the support Volcarona, which has the Tailwind Rage Powder stuff, and it works amazing. Because Volcarona's typing is actually really good, as long as you don't see a Rock-type Pokemon. But for a bug, she's got amazing stats. And she can be built many different ways. This one's offensive. The other one we have is defense or tankage and supportive. It's just a really flexible Pokemon, and you're going to see it probably quite a bit in ranked. Now, Ruin Pokemon, as in you know, all of them, they're just gonna show up. Their passives are, their abilities are ridiculous. They hurt and they have really decent moves. Like Ruination is ridiculous. A move that automatically always halves their HP every time you use it. So like, yeah. But normally you're gonna see, like, depending on what the lead is, you know, if you're gonna see Ice Cat, they're probably gonna have another aggressive type of physical attacker, or they'll have something like Indeedy or Mousehole, something with Follow Me, so you can't target the Chien-Pao and it's just getting free attacks on your team. And it can one-shot most things it sees. Tingly is kind of the same way. It's just a super duper defensive type Pokemon that not this moveset. This, I haven't used Tingly in a while. I would definitely run something different for doubles. But this Pokemon's ridiculous because he lowers I believe all special attack stats. So he makes it to where essentially he's just tankier. And then you've seen me use Wuchen. It's a hilarious Leech Seed Pokemon that once it gets kind of set up, and if you Terra correctly against their team, if they don't have like a super effective, you kind of just win. Because Leech Seed's going to kill them. He reduces, I believe, physical damage. And yeah, so like, they're just ridiculous Pokemon. You're probably always going to see a Ruined Pokemon on someone's team in ranked. It's just, I mean, why would you not? They're ridiculous, and they just kind of fit on any team you want them to do. It just depends on what you're aiming for. Now, Grimmsnarl is probably one of the best screens setter because of Prankster and then Light Clay, and then it's just got overall really nice bulk. And surprisingly, a really high physical attack stat. But mostly, if you're ever going to see a Grimmsnarl, it's going to be screens, probably Thunder Wave, stuff like that. It's really just there to be annoying. But yeah, that's the same way Grimmsnarl was in Sword and Shield, and I mean, it's not changed much coming here. Now, Iron Bundle is another one of those Pokemon you're probably going to see on like every single team, because this Pokemon's ridiculous. Because normally it's going to be holding a booster energy, so at the start of the battle, consume it, its speed will get boosted, and all of a sudden you're the fastest Pokemon. Even some Pokemon under Tailwind still don't outspeed it, which is hilarious, but it is kind of fragile. Surprisingly, it has really decent defense. I didn't realize that. The special defense is actually lacking. I didn't know that. Well, that's interesting, though. I mean, it's still fragile. It doesn't have very much HP. So it kind of falls to priority moves. But, I mean, spamming Icy Wind to affect the other team's speed, so your team maintains momentum over them. It's just a really nice Pokemon in general. Freeze Dry, being able to hit water Pokemon super effectively. You've seen me get frozen off of Freeze Dry. It's annoying. But yeah, Iron Bundle, one of the top tier Paradox Pokemon you're probably going to see on most people's teams. Then you have Amungus, who fits on almost any team that you want it to be on, because Rage Powder, Clear Smog, and Spore are really annoying to deal with this Pokemon. And it loves switching into Fairy types, because, I mean, Fairy types don't do much against poison, and it's especially tanky Pokemon, so It's just really annoying. With Clear Smog, you actually is another counter to Dunzo teams because you can just clear their buffs. Giga Drain just kind of gives you some damage and some heals. You could just run Protect. Rage Powder makes it to where, you know, they can't target anything else but him. And then Spore, one of those detrimental things you can have happen to you, puts you to sleep. So, and sleep is like, I think one of the worst status effects to get because you're literally just not doing anything and it kind of turns the game. But, and it's 100% accuracy, which is another thing. But Amungus is one of those Pokemon that just fits really good on your team. Same with Brute Bonnet. Same pretty much scenario. Normally you'll see, like, it won't be this build. You'll see, like, Bullet Seed. That's why it's holding a loaded dice, just so you get, like, the maximum 4 to 5 hits with Bullet Seed. Because this thing hurts. Especially if you've had, Torkel out with Drought, then you automatically just get its Protosynthesis, which means its attack stat's going to go up again. This thing just hurts. And it can put something to sleep. It's a pretty ridiculous Pokemon. But, another ridiculous Pokemon that you're probably going to see a lot of it is Glomora. Because Mortal Spin is an automatic poison both Pokemon on the opposing side, unless they're Steel or Poison. You can set up Stealth Rocks, so you can ruin their Focus Sash users coming in. You have Toxic Debris, so whenever you're hit by a physical move, you also place Toxic Spikes on their side. This Pokemon does so much with ease. It's ridiculous. It's got decent speed, it's got really nice defenses, and it's got a really high special attack. Like, it's probably one of the nicest rock Pokemon you could probably get in the game. And Mortal Spin is ridiculous. I hate that it automatically poisons both Pokemon on the opposing side. It's just like, well, because it doesn't really do damage. It's the point that you're just ticking to death slowly. But yeah, Glomora you're probably going to see quite a bit of. It is a ridiculous Pokemon. And then we have Garnaco. You have seen me use this Pokemon on tank teams. It can absolutely just solo everything. You Terra into Ghost, you have your Purifying Salt, you're immune to status effects, and you take half damage from Ghost attacks. It is a ridiculously tanky Pokemon. Salt Cure is probably one of the most overpowered moves I've ever seen in my life. And the point that this thing learns Recover plus holding leftovers, it is an amazing tank. Garnaco kind of fits on any team you want it to be too, but I like bringing it in like after the match is kind of gone, like a last ditch Pokemon, because then it can kind of just clean up everything. So that's what I normally like to use. You can lead with it too, because it depends on what you're leading. There might be another threat, or if you're running like Grimmsnarl, you can set screen so it's taking less damage. There's a whole bunch of different things you could do. Then we have Sableye. There's a bunch of different versions of Sableye you can see. You can see screens, just because of the Prankster. And with it being Ghost, it's also immune to Fake Out. So, like, it is guaranteed to get up whatever it's going to do. Encore super annoying with Prankster. So if they did Protect last turn, and you do Encore again, you can just make them be stuck in Protect. Or if they did a buff, you can just keep making them do buffs. Will-O-Wisp can cripple a physical attacker. Some of them run Foul Play. I mean, this thing has a whole bunch of different types of things you do. It's pretty bulky for what it is. And its Dark typing also lets it be immune to Prankster abilities. So, overall, it's just a really nice Pokemon. Probably like one of the best supporters you can get. And then we have Golden Go. This thing is probably one of the most ridiculous Pokemon they've introduced in the game. Because Good as Gold is ridiculous. You're immune to all types. You're immune to almost all status stuff. Make It Rain is probably one of the most overpowered AoE hitting moves in the game. Especially with its really ridiculously high special attack. It's decent defenses. It's got pretty good HP. Its speed's mediocre. This Pokemon it's just, if you see it and you don't have an answer on your team, it's probably going to be an uphill battle. But, yeah, Golden Go is, it's a really nice Pokemon. I mean, I guess it makes sense because it is kind of ridiculous to evolve since you need 999 of the coins to even be able to evolve one. So, I guess it kind of makes sense, but, yeah. Golden Go, if you don't have an answer for it, probably going to have a rough time. But now, for like the penultimate Pokemon, if it gets going, is this thing. I have had to where, like, I've had multiple defense boosts and whatnot, but Ragefist still just comes through and just utterly one-shots me. This thing is... It's got multiple builds you can run, too. This one's raid built at the moment, move-wise, because we were doing the Inteleon thing. But it's got Defiant, which means anytime its stats are lowered, it gets an automatic 2 attack stage boost. So, like, that's already ridiculous, especially with how much Intimidate exists in this game. And plus, you know, if you're going to get something like this with Icy Wind and they do it and you lose your speed, yet again, your attack stats going up. And then Rage Fist becomes ridiculous, and then Drain Punch is just going to keep you alive on anything it can hit. Like, this Pokemon is probably one of the... I'd say it's like an S+ Pokemon, is what I'm going to say. Because its typing is pretty good. You see a lot of them Gotera Water, because Water's only got 2 weaknesses. And quite a few resistances. So, it's just a pretty ridiculous Pokemon. You're either going to see the bulk up build, kind of like what you see. You probably see Protect instead of Screech, but it'd probably have the other 2 moves. Or, you're going to see the Choice Scarf it's wearing that I have, and you're going to see it max HP built with Final Gambit, which means it does whatever its current HP is to the opposing Pokemon. It faints itself, but normally, since it's got like one of the highest base HPs in the game outside of like Blissey and stuff, it's going to take the other Pokemon down with it. Now, we have had some funny things in the past where we had one use it on a Focus Sash user, and I brought my Noivern down to 1. It still fainted, but since Focus Sash was there, we lived. And it kind of just turned the battle into our favor because, you know, they sacked something and didn't get anything in return. But with that said, this page right here is, in my opinion, you're probably going to see something on this page on someone's team, if not most of them on someone's team. Now, when you're going to build a team, though, you need to think about what you want to do. Do you want to go fast? So if you want to go fast, you want to focus on like a Tailwind team or just highly offensive fast Pokemon in general? Or are you wanting to punish fast teams and run a Trick Room team? So you're bringing a lot more slower Pokemon to benefit from that. Or are you going for like more of a Stolly type one with like screens and Pokemon with like leftovers that just do small bits of damage over time, and you're just trying to whittle your opponent down. Like, there's a whole different type of scenarios you can go. You could be trying to base your team off a weather team and trying to capitalize off that. It's just finding stuff that you enjoy playing, because there's no point in playing, like... I hate when I watch people use rental teams, and they use it, and they're like, I don't understand how this team's supposed to function, but I know it's done really good because this master player is using it. But if you're new to the game and you're not a master player, you're not going to know the ins and outs of the team because you didn't build it, and you're not the one sitting there playing with it. That's why I kind of hate posting rental teams, but mine are mostly, you know, funny gimmick ones. I think it's best for you to build your own team, practice with that team, then you can learn the strengths and weaknesses and try to adjust it from there. Which we'll probably do in the next video. I could probably just build a team from this box in the next video, and we can take it in the rank and try it out, and then whoever's not performing up to what we want it to do or not working out with the team, we just switch them out for something else until we figure out like what's covering what's weaknesses and what our main issue we're running into is. But yeah, item-wise, the top items you're going to see are going to be Focus Sash, which you see on my Lycanroc. You're going to see this on a lot of squishy Pokemon that are just meant to hit fast and hard, and it's just so they can essentially just get an extra turn of living any attack they take. Most Torkels are going to be running Charcoal or Choice Specs, depending on just what they're wanting to do. Charcoal I like. It's still giving you a 30% boost, and it still allows you to use other moves. So like, if you've taken damage and you're at the point where Eruption's not doing anything, you have other options. Covert Cloak, it's kind of a niche item. It's kind of there to prevent like fake out and stuff, if you're kind of worried about that thing. But outside that, you could run like on most of these weather guys. If you're wanting their stuff to last longer, you can run like I think it's like a heat rock on him. I think it's a sand rock and then like a damp rock. So there's multiple things you can do. Palafin, you'll probably always either see running a choice item or Mystic Water. It's just how this Pokemon functions. Weakness policy on a Pokemon that can actually take the hit to activate a weakness policy becomes very scary. We had Flash Fire on this one, but I think if you're going to do the weakness policy on this thing and you're not doing Trick Room, I would probably run the weak armor one. So what will happen is when you're hit by a move, your defense will go down one stage, but your speed goes up 2 stages. So all of a sudden you get a 100% boost to your speed. You're schmoving, and then your attack and special attack just got a special or 2-stage boost also. Also, the Pokemon becomes very scary, especially when it has something that has Follow Me next to it also. So, like, there's a lot of things that can happen. Wide lenses are really just a niche item. It's mostly on Pokemon that have, like, lower accuracy moves, kind of like the Population Bomb, and it just helps you have a chance of, you know, not missing. Choice Band's going to be an item you're going to see around a lot. You'll see it on Dragonites. You might see it on Meowscarus. It's just they're trying to go for one-shots on you. Evilite, you're probably not going to see too often. Honestly, with Murkrow, you could do Evilite, which just boosts your defenses by 50% if you are an unevolved Pokemon and you still can evolve. It just makes it a little bit bulkier. Or you can run the Covert Cloak or a Focus Sash. It doesn't matter. I would probably choose like Covert Cloak over the Focus Sash just to prevent the Fake Out from stopping you from setting up Tailwind, in my personal opinion. Citrus Berry is another one of those items that's really nice because as soon as your Pokemon hits half, it automatically heals you for 30% of your HP back. There are other berries, you just have to figure out like what nature they go with. That'll give you a little bit more heal back if you match the nature that it goes to. Assault Vest is going to be something you see a lot of Pokemon wearing that are running all attacks, kind of like you would see. Almost every Iron Bundle is going to be running Assault Vest. It's just one of the best users of it. Life Orb has been a staple item since it came out. It just boosts all your damage by 30%. You do lose 10% of your HP each time you use it, but I mean, the give and take of this is it helps seal the deal on most attacks. Like, I think the one video that I was running, I think I hit someone with Sucker Punch, and it lived with like 1 or 2 HP because I was holding a Focus Sash. If I had a Life Orb, it would have been just an easy knockout. You're only going to see Light Clay really used on things that are going to set up screens because it increases the way they last. I think like an extra 3 turns or something like that. 2 or 3 turns, one of the two. So it'll be normally these two that do it. That's really where you'll see that. Black Sludge, you can run this on any poison type Pokemon that's tanky. It's just another form of leftovers for you to have. Leftovers is going to be on any Pokemon that's just planning on being on the field for a really long time and has a nice HP pool. Because you're going to be healing in between protects and whatnot. So it's just a nice item. Boost Energy is only used on Paradox Pokemon. And it'll boost the highest stat that the Pokemon's running. So it's only going to be either an attack stat or it's going to be a speed stat. But you can only run one of these. And the problem with this that I have, though, is it is nice to use. As long as the Pokemon's just going to stay out there, it'd stay out there. But I hate when it's used and then you're like, crap, I have to switch out because then you lose the perk. Which is kind of, then it just feels like a wasted item slot to me. So it has its give and takes. But if you're running stuff like Torkel and you have Fluttermane in the background, well then you set up the sun, so Fluttermane's going to get the boost regardless because the sun's up. So you don't have to worry about boosting, you can actually wear another item. Choice Specs is another one of those items that you're going to see a lot of Pokemon running. They're just trying to go for the one-shots. That's all they care about. Another niche item is a Jetpack. So what happens with the Jetpack is if any of the Pokemon stats are lowered, it automatically will use the Jetpack and switches out with another Pokemon in your backup line. You'll see a lot of Pokemon that are using like Draco Meteor, Make It Rain. This is just so they do one huge pot shot to you, and then the Pokemon switches out to readjust itself, so it gets those. It loses the stat drop. So when you see it again and it comes back out, they have all their special attack back. So it's still a scary Pokemon. Choice Scarf is going to be niche on certain Pokemon. Like I said, they Annihilate with Final Gambit. And then you've seen my Staraptor that I have up there is running it also. It's just, it has such a high base physical attack that I was like, well, I just need speed because I can one-shot most things if it's super effective. So, and then Loaded Dice is, you're only ever going to see this on Pokemon that are using multi-hit moves. So they can always get the max 4 to 5 hits no matter what. And then, yeah, from there, it's kind of just whatever item that you feel like trying out or you feel like is hilarious. You've seen me run Quick Claw on my Torkel. It is hilarious when it works, but it's very gimmicky. Safety goggles are pretty nice because it helps prevent your Pokemon being affected by Spore and weather effects. Mostly Spore and Sleep Powders. Those are the really reasons that you want to run safety goggles. Another item you can run is Rocky Helmet, but that's really situational. Like, it has to be a physical move that you get hit by, and it has to be a direct contact move that you're hit by. So if they're spamming Earthquake, your Rocky Helmet's not going to do anything. So you're going to be like, well, that just feels like a wasted item, but it is what it is. It can turn a battle, especially because Rocky Helmet was used a lot when mouse holes were around, because if it's going to hit you that many times, the Rocky Helmet will KO it before it KOs your Pokemon. So, but not everybody runs mouse hole much anymore, but it's still a Pokemon you're going to see a lot of. But, yeah, I think that might be it for this video. Hopefully that was helpful. A lot of these Pokemon, if you're wanting to see their builds and whatnot, you can just type in a Smogon and then the Pokemon's name, and then try and look up, like, doubles builds. And they've got, like, normally they'll have doubles builds. Sometimes they'll have a VGC build where the Pokemon was actually taken to a tournament, and they have builds for that. And just try them out and see what you like. It's really about just testing and building stuff. And then you'll kind of find a thing that, you know, fits your playstyle and you can start to climb rank. And then rank it's just doing battles. You're not going to climb rank if you're not doing battles. Sometimes you'll get a string of bad luck. I've had plenty of it. Sometimes you'll get a string of good luck. It just depends on how the matches are going for you. Misses can hurt a lot. Crits can change things. Certain status flinches. Oh, there's so many things in Pokemon that can just change the turn of a battle. But yeah. So that is my little guide to trying to get into competitive play, especially if you're new to the game. This is the box I'd probably focus on Pokemon-wise, on trying to build a team around. And then once you get comfortable with that, start to explore other Pokemon. You've seen some of the Pokemon that not a lot of people use that I've used, and they just randomly will pop off doing good, or there's a reason that they're just not used, and I try to do that for you so you guys don't use them. But, Seviper. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll try and answer them the best I can. And in the next video that we do for this, I will be building a team from this box. And we will try and see. We'll do a few matches and see if we climb at all. And I'll go over the thought process of why I'm picking certain items, why I'm doing certain moves, why I'm picking this for leads and stuff. Ranked is really just coming down to playing, learning, and adapting as you go. If you're trying to do the same thing over and over and over, and it's not working, you're not going to get anywhere, and you're just going to make yourself frustrated. And that's when you stop having fun with the game, and that's when you start hitting ranked. So my goal is to hopefully get you on the right track of a team that you can somewhat enjoy, try and use some of the Pokemon you like, and you know, I mean, it's probably going to be an equal amount of losing and winning, but hey, you might find a little niche of a team that you like, that you just do really good with, and you'll climb pretty quickly. It's just the way it is. And the more you use it, the more you know, like, what people are trying to counter you with. You'll know what moves to expect, and hey, you can make some weird predictions that people just won't see. But, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. And if you got any questions, just leave them down in the comment down below, and I'll try and answer them the best I can. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video when we build a team and we take it in ranked and try it out. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!